Good evening. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers midweek podcast. Myself and Kenny will try and give you some Rangers news and bring you a show worthwhile and listening to. Kenny, good evening, mate. How are you? We're actually wearing different colours. God, something weird has happened.
It's not like us, is it? And it's not deliberate either. The amount of times we stuck together with the same colour top on. But yeah, I'm not bad, mate. I'm not long in from having a wee late lunch, so fantastic. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes, Wednesday's your day off, so you sent us a message saying you were away having spicy garlic or something, is there? What did you have?
Garlic chili chicken I had, yes. Fabulous. Very hot, but very nice.
Yes, indeed. So let's start with the news that Liam Kelly has signed a 2-year deal. Kenny, this is one I'm really pleased about. Liam, perfect sense to me. He's homegrown. He's very reliable. He's very dependable. He's never going to cause any issues. He's happy to be... Well, is he happy to be second choice? I don't want to say that, but he's happy to be in the goalkeeper mix and pushing the number one. He's delighted to be staying. Danny Rule happy he's staying. Understands the club. His experience is invaluable. I would say this about Liam Kelly. Liam Kelly to deal with as fan media is absolutely fantastic. He really values what we do. He spends a lot of time with us whenever there's like media walkouts and things. Liam will spend time with fan media and things like that. So I really like Liam Kelly. I really get on with him, and I think he's a good guy. But aside of that, as a player, as a person, it makes perfect sense for me for Rangers. So I'm really pleased about this one.
Yeah, me too. I think it makes perfect sense in regard to the fact that he's Scots, he's homegrown, reared in the club, and he wants to be here, Stevie. That's the most important thing. And when you look at it, he's a dependable keeper. He's a reliable. He is one of those guys that behind the scenes, I would imagine, not so much set standards, but sets the parameters, if you like, explains to people what Rangers are all about. So, yeah, and he's a Rangers man at the end of the day, and I'm delighted with that because as a number two, he's got bags of experience, Stevie. That's the kind of good thing about it. If whether it's Jack Butland next season or not, you know, we have a keeper there that you can rely on, regardless to who the number one is. If he's going to get an injury or he's going to have to take time out for whatever reason, so it makes absolute sense to have somebody like that within your squad. And yeah, I can only reiterate what I'm saying. He's a proper number two. He's a good keeper to have as backup. So I'm delighted with that. Really am.
Yeah, he will push. Here's the thing, right? There seems to be a lot of noise surrounding Jack Butland. Jack Butland leaving doesn't really concern me. We've spoke about this before. I think change in that position, change for Jack and things might be good. Rangers heavily linked with Sheffield Wednesday number one, Pierce Charles, isn't it? So he's the one that is rumoured to be heavily linked with Rangers. I am a bit concerned about this with regards to if that was our number one. He's a young lad, good with the ball at his feet, but I'm not sure. It would worry me that it was another West Fotheringham kind of situation. I'm sure he's a lot better than West. West was okay for us, but the goalkeeping position, Kenny, is absolutely vital, and it's all right to say we need change from Jack Butland. Keeping Kelly makes perfect sense in that frame of mind because you do have somebody to set the standards and his experience and things like that. But this young lad that's I think it would be a gamble, and I'm one that again does think we need a new number one, but I think this one could be a gamble.
Well, I was recording with Davey Heard last night, and we were discussing goalkeepers at length last night. Oddly, we were mentioning Andy Gorham and Chris Wood, Stephen Kloss got a mention, and I think that's where we've been incredibly fortunate over the years, that we've had absolutely superb goalkeepers over the last 40 years, Stevie, in the main. And I'm kind of I do understand, put it that way, where you're coming from with Pierce Charles, because he's a good goalkeeper. There's no question he is, but has he got the experience that we need? I don't know, because he's at Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday haven't had their troubles to seek. So in that respect, he's been a busy goalkeeper. You're not going to be overly busy at Rangers every week. So does he have the concentration levels? I don't know. The problem I have with Jack Butland over the last 18 months is that he's just not performed very well. And I think he would be the first to admit that his form hasn't been great. His performances haven't been great. Shots that you expect him to save, he hasn't done. Making mistakes a lot. You've seen that in the last game of the season. An inexplicable error, just a lack of concentration, and that's the kind of primary target for me when you're looking at a goalkeeper, is the concentration level. And I genuinely couldn't tell you what Pierce Charles's are going to be like. Although I could turn around and say that our current number one's concentration levels have been found wanting at times over the last year or so. So it is difficult to decide, if you like, whether Jack Butland should stay or go. I personally feel that it's probably best for everybody, all parties, if he was to move on. I think we need to obliterate the leadership group for a start. I think that's got to go, and he's in it. So it's difficult for me to turn around and say much else, Stevie, that I would like to see a new keeper. Whether Pierce Charles is the answer, I genuinely couldn't tell you, because I feel we should be looking at a goalkeeper that's performing at a higher level than that. And that's no disrespect to Sheffield Wednesday. I just feel the bottom end of the championship doesn't tell you if he's going to be a Rangers keeper or not.
Somebody made the point in the comments, and I kind of agree with it. Rangers can't afford to have a summer where there's a lot of gambles. I would consider that kind of outlay for a young goalkeeper like that to be a bit of a gamble. But also, I don't think there's an obvious choice sitting, waiting for us. So that's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a very difficult position to fill. We'll have to watch that one. Do we know for certain Jack Butland's going? We don't. There are a lot of rumours linking Birmingham with him, isn't there? So moving on to another contract situation, Finlay Curtis. Kenny, the latest update we have is that he's still in discussions. All parties are happy with the progress, but they're also very aware that Finlay is in the World Cup, and they're happy to leave that until the World Cup is over, with the kind of, I don't know if agreement's the right word, but situation that Rangers and Finlay are happy with the progress, and everybody's confident it'll get tied up after the World Cup. And I think that kind of should put any fears to the side, because he's been linked with other clubs and things like that, which is always what happens when you're in contract talks. These clubs currently manage to appear from nowhere and interested in players, etc. But that, I consider that to be good news about Finlay. We can put it to bed, look at it again after the World Cup, and hopefully by the time he comes back to pre-season training, which will be later than everybody else, it'll be all signed and sealed, and he'll be raring to go.
I certainly hope so, because the boy is an incredibly talented and gifted player, and he's a real prospect, Stevie. So if we could get him tied down, and I know it's in a much improved deal because they want to give the boy his place in terms of you're now going to be a proper first team player. So in that respect, you just want to get him tied down. The rumour I heard, I didn't hear, I seen it somewhere, was that Aston Villa were talking about 9 million quid and stuff like that. And I wouldn't even think, well, with all respect, if you're getting offered 10 million January window there for JD Gassama. I've been looking for more for Finlay Curtis, with all respect to JD Gassama. But it's just one of these things, Stevie, that because it is the World Cup, it is going to be difficult to turn around and, let the boy lose attention and what is important to him at this minute in time. So I'm sure his agent or his people will be dealing with Rangers, and it'll be going back and forward, and it's just a case of, right, we're going to leave him alone while he's away in America, and we'll get tied down when he comes back, which I think is perfectly reasonable for all parties. I just would like to see it done, because at the end of the day, I'm going to kind of contradict that by saying, but Liam Kelly was just announced yesterday, and he's at the World Cup, that he's going to sign. So I don't know, mate. I just feel that it's one of these things that he's too good a talent not to get tied down. That's the important thing for me. Get this boy on a long-term deal, and we can start to nurture the guy's talent, because he's got all the talent in the world. He really has. And I'm really excited to see him play much more regularly for Rangers than he did the first half of last season. I just feel that he's, I mean, young Scottish player, Stevie, you've got to get these guys tied down.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree with that. Listen, a long time admirer of Finlay Curtis. I've said it for a very long time. I was the one that kind of spoke to Philip Clement about him and trying to get him in the first team. Watched him score a lot of goals in reserve football, and I think naturally he scored 60 odd in youth and reserve football over the course of a couple of seasons. And I always felt like some players just look natural when it comes to being in the box and around the box. I think Finlay Curtis looks natural when he's around the box and things like that. I think he looks like somebody that knows where the goal is. We don't have enough threats in our team. He should be part of the first team squad next year. So let's hope that'll get tied up when he comes back to the World Cup. Another update, despite Instagram stuff that we talked about on Monday night, Kenny, Bailey Rice hasn't signed an extended contract, according to the club. Still a chance he will. And it's likely that if he stays, everything that we've talked about with regard to Bailey Rice going out on loan, that's exactly what's going to happen for him. So it seems like Rangers' kind of offer to Bailey Rice is a new contract, first team football on loan somewhere else. So I wonder, Kenny, if for the first time some of our gibbering on about Motherwell and Kilmarnock and the likes of being a fantastic move for him might be something that's worthwhile, and that the club feels worthwhile for Bailey Rice. So not signed it yet is what they're saying. Chance he will, chance he won't. I think it's very much 50-50 with Bailey Rice. He's got a lot of good offers, isn't he? I think Ajax and I think I read Fulham and Crystal Palace and things are all interested in him. But Rangers, if they're going to keep him, it may very well look like it's a longer term deal, 2 or 3 years, and he'll be getting put out on loan for that experience, which is music to my ears. Exactly what should be happening if we decide, or if I say if we decide, because it sounds like we have decided we would like to keep him if we'll put an offer to him. So it'll just be whether or not he decides and things, whether or not he wants to stay.
Yeah, we had a person on at the end of Monday's show, didn't we, that was telling us that we talked a lot of shite and we didn't know what we were talking about and all that kind of stuff, if you remember. Well, funny enough, we got that one spot on about Bailey Rice, didn't we? So get that round you, whoever you are. It's just one of these things, Stevie, that I look at with Bailey Rice, and we've discussed this at length now, but the boy's talent is obvious. He's a good player. He hasn't had the best of luck last season with injuries. He's not had the best of fortune in the way that Rangers have went about trying to make him a better footballer and an all-round footballer. I think he's been hard done to a little bit by Rangers, and I hope he does stay, because again, it's a good young talent. He's now, because he's been here for this amount of time, he's regarded as homegrown, so it benefits us in terms of the Scots quota for the European football. But more than anything else, Stevie, you're absolutely right, and we had this discussion, on Monday, and we had it last week, we had it a few weeks ago, that the bottom line is to get the best out of this boy we genuinely both feel, I think, that what you have to do is, if he's going to get lots of game time at Rangers, then fine. If he's not going to get the 30, 40 games that I think he probably needs in a season to break into the men's game, and break into the senior game and become the player that we know he could be, then perhaps a loan, for 6 months or the full season would be a fantastic idea for him. And you could almost pick and choose where you could put him, Stevie, because you've mentioned Kilmarnock, which is a great idea, but there'll be a number of clubs would be really, really interested in having the boy's services, because he is a very, very tidy football player. And I just hope that he does sign. It's that simple. I do. I hope he does sign. And I hope he goes on to have a very good career with Rangers, because we need young Scots in our team, Stevie. It's that simple.
Yeah, it's one to watch. Kenny, away from the we'll go back to the squad stuff in a minute. Rangers, it's widely been reported, will have a friendly game against Coventry on July 26th, which I think is a Sunday the week before the season starts. And they'll also play Sparta Prague out in Germany as part of the kind of tour out there. This is, I suppose, the exciting bit for me when the pre-season begins to get together. Rangers will return on the 19th. So it's not that far away. What, we 9 days away from Rangers returning to training. Of course, the 6 players at the World Cup, Shankland, Curtis, Suter, Kelly, Raskin and Asgard, won't return until later. Obviously, Shankland, Curtis, Suter and Kelly will be well into July once Scotland win that, obviously. So it's not too long before Rangers will start playing the bounce games, will start playing the friendly games. But Coventry seems like a decent level of opposition, played good football under Frank last year, scored goals aplenty. And Sparta, Prague, and a bounce game in Germany is going to be decent opposition as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Sparta Prague are always a good side. Coventry were, as you say, they were cracking to watch last year. They sat in the top 2 literally all season and ended up kind of running away with that league. And you don't win that league without being a really good side. The good thing about it is that they will almost rip up their entire squad and bring a big pile of other players in, because it's what happens in the Premier League. So we'll be seeing a new, almost an entirely new outfit, I would imagine, when Coventry come. How many players will keep, I don't, from this year's squad, I genuinely don't know that'll make their team, but it's good to see Premier League quality come up and we can test ourselves against them, Stevie, because it gives you a good understanding. And sometimes, it's only a friendly, I don't want to overplay that, but it gives you an understanding of where you're at, because if you remember, was it 3 seasons back now, we played Newcastle, and the boy Anthony Gordon, who's now a Barcelona player, he tore us apart that night. If you remember, it was a tough watch. So it gives you an idea where you are in terms of the quality of your own new signings and stuff like that. So it's great to get the opportunity to play these teams, isn't it?
They've got the big boy that used to play for. Was it Hearts? Wasn't it big boy Ellis? Was it? Really big guy up front.
Yeah.
And he's been absolutely sensational. Is it Ellis? I can't remember.
I think it is. The word Sam is coming into my head, but I think it is. Is it Ellis Sams or something like that? Is that his name?
Sims. Elliot Sims.
Is that what it is?
Aye, but he had a cracking season for Coventry, didn't he? So I've got to admit, my knowledge of Coventry isn't outstanding. But I'll look forward. Obviously, Lampard's got them playing well and things like that. Kenny, before we get to today's rumours, it's right back aplenty. Delighted to announce, and tickets are now on sale for Four Lads pre-season live show, which will happen on the 24th of July, which isn't that long away. I think it's just about 5-6 weeks. So I'm going to need to stop eating and get in shape. But looking forward to it, and it's going to be at 442, which is Scott Arfield's new bar, and it is on Paisley Road West. We'll be kicking off at 7 o'clock in the evening, running till about 10:30. And we're going to be joined. I think it's myself, you, Amrit, and Scott so far. That's going to be the lineup. looking forward to it, mate. Once again, doing a live show. We've had some great success for these things. Of course, it'll act as a kind of fundraiser. We are thinking, and we've kind of put feelers out to see if we can get an ex-player to come along and be a special guest. So we're hoping to have an ex-player with us as well. So it should be a great evening, especially with the season starting the following week. Coventry on the Sunday after it. Seems like that could be a good weekend.
It'll be a great weekend, and tickets are on sale, and I always like the live nights. They're different, they're good fun, and at the end of the day, anybody looking for a ticket, go down, get a crowd of mates, get a few pints, sit and have a laugh, come and meet us. It is good fun. I can promise anybody that's thinking about it or considering it, get your backsides down there. It's just down the road. It's down the Paisley Road, so it'll be a good laugh. And the bottom line is that you'll be there, obviously, but boys like Amaret and Scott will be there as well, and they're good people. And we're buzzing for it. It is that simple, and we always like the live shows. We always like them and enjoy them, and it's nice to get the feedback, isn't it? Sometimes, Stevie, where people come and they quiz you, they query you, and it's fantastic to get to see the people that we see the names or whatever. But it's nice to actually meet them face to face, and that's the great thing for us. That's what we like about it, is that we can sit there and talk here face to face, and we've got a comment section. But when you actually see the guys that when they turn up to the live shows, it's great fun, and it's nice to meet everybody. So get yourself a ticket, get your mates down, get a few pints, and enjoy the night, because it is going to be a good one.
Yeah, it will be. Tickets are £10, and there is some limited seating. The seating's in booths. They're £15 a time. You get a table in the booth and everything else. So for members, if you are a member, there is a 25% off code as a thank you to your membership. So if you join and become a member for 99p, you will save money on your ticket. Basically, you will get more than that off. So if you fancy becoming a member, you can hit the subscribe button up in the top corner, the QR code, become a member for 99p and save yourself £2-3 on a ticket. So yeah, we are talking to some ex-jurors about getting them to come along to the night as well. So we're hoping to have a really good night. The code for members is in the comment section on our YouTube page. So for members, you can access the discussion. You will see that I put a post up last night. It gives you the code there to go in as a member and get your 25% code. Type it in while you're buying your tickets. The link is in the description of the live show. So hopefully we see a lot of you there. We're really looking forward to it. Kenny, busy day today. We've been linked with right backs aplenty. Reports claim Rangers are offered $2.5 million for Westerlo right back Brian Reynolds. Ex-Roma player, but only really played a wee bit for them, didn't he? 24 years old, international for USA with 7 caps. Didn't make the World Cup squad. 2 Romans came from them, Westerlo, didn't he? The manager is our old assistant, if I remember correctly. So basically, it's been reported that Rangers are the boy Sasha online, who's quite decent, saying that Rangers have had a bid rejected. That's not been firmed up by anyone in Scotland as yet. Unlikely to be wrong, but he's definitely, according to Chris Jack this morning, credit Chris Jack with that, he says he's definitely a name that's on Rangers' list. So I've went to my trusty scout on all of this, Kai, to ask him what this boy's like and to feel what he likes. And what he said about him is he's absolutely rapid, great athlete, tall, strong, but struggles defensively, especially on a one-on-one. So Kai is the one that does all the graphs and all that kind of stuff, and I look at them and go, what the hell does all that mean? Yeah, what's your thoughts, Kenny?
An interesting one. I always think Kai does a great job with this kind of stuff, and if he's openly admitting concern about his defensive ability. That's a little bit of a concern. However, what you would say is that I think if I heard that, did we not hear something similar about Tour Romans? That he was great going forward, but wasn't particularly great defensively. And then you look at him and he's absolutely sound defensively. And I would like to know, I don't know anything about the American World Cup squad. So I'm presuming they've had 2 or 3 right backs that are in front of them. Who are they? How good are they? I don't know. That kind of concerned me a little bit because, but then again, that shows my personal ignorance about world football these days, because just about every team, every nation has got 4, 5, 6 top class players in every position nowadays, Stevie. They do. They've got so much strength and depth. There's so many quality players out there nowadays that it's no shame in not making an American World Cup squad. That's what I mean. It's just I couldn't understand. I was really surprised to see that he hadn't made their squad, because he'd played quite a lot for Westerlo. I don't know what to make of it. I always look at the Belgian league. Has it been good for us? Has it not been good for us over the last few years? It's been okay. There's been some hits. There's been some misses. So don't know anything about the player at all, Stevie. As I say, apart from the fact that I did know that he had been at Roma. I did know that anyway. Couldn't have even told you he was at Westerlo for some, I didn't even know that, but that's where he is, plying his trade. The Belgian league's a better league than ours in terms of the overall standard of it, Stevie, so I'm sure he's a half-decent player, but I'm not going to, I do this every single summer, I am not going to sit here and pretend I know huge amounts about a player that I don't know huge amounts about. I'm not going to be that guy, because I don't bullshit bullshitters, basically. I can't, because it's just one of these things that I'm a little bit ignorant of the boy, if truth be told. I have heard his name, did know he had been at Roma, but that's as far as I know about him, Stevie.
Yeah, listen, I'm the same. And see, because I don't play Football Manager anymore, I don't know who any of these guys are. I've not played Football Manager in about 2 years. It really went downhill, and then I just went back to Champman 0102 so that I could buy all my favourites and just rule the world with Rangers. So that's basically what I do. So yeah, second right back linked today, Kenny. Ryan. I really hope we don't get this guy, because I can't pronounce his second name, but it's Alibiosu. Blackburn Rovers right back, valued somewhere between 3 and 5 million by the club. Quick, powerful. He's been linked to West Ham, and also Genoa seem to have a link with him quite a lot. So once again, asked Kai what he thought of him and what's the kind of stats and all that kind of stuff. He said tall, strong, powerful, great ball carrier, and another that does his best work in the final third. Better defender than Reynolds, but still not great positionally. And not with the speed, although powerful. So that is basically what he's saying. We are looking at right backs at least, but again, I don't know much about Blackburn Rovers. Like, I don't, like, they were mid-table, weren't they? I kept an eye on their scores. I kept an eye on kind of Todd Cantwell's progress, because I've always had a kind of soft spot. I really liked Cantwell when he was up here, although he underachieved. I think that's fair to say. But anybody else, I can't. I've got to be honest. I seen this boy's name linked was today, and I just didn't know anything about it at all. Your thoughts again, Kenny?
I watched Blackburn about 3 or 4 times last season, Stevie. He didn't catch my eye in any way. I don't remember him at all. What would I say about him? Put it a different way. What I do recall of Blackburn from last season, they leaked a lot of goals. And I think it was only the second last day of the season before they stayed up, Stevie. They were bottom half of that table, I'm sure, and they did struggle. So in that regard, I'm not blaming the boy as an individual for that. It's just one of these things that I can't pretend again that I know anything about this boy, because, as I say, I did watch them a few times and I don't remember him at all. So it's not as if I went, oh, who's that right back or anything like that. But to be fair, Blackburn were a little bit of a kind of nothing side last year. They didn't, aye. But it's not so much that they were rotten. It's more for me, it's like there was nothing about them. You would look at them and go, I don't know what they're trying to do. It was a little bit like sometimes, what is it they actually do? You couldn't really see. And I thought that, to be fair, if I'm watching them, it was probably because there was nothing else on and Todd Cantwell was playing and I was watching for that. But no, I don't know anything about this guy, Stevie, at all. And as I say, having watched his club side a few times, that's a wee bit concerning for me that I don't even recollect the name at all. So and it seems an awful lot of money, mate. £5 million for a championship player. The grand scheme of things, it's not a lot down there, but that's always my concern. There was a little bit of a chat on our group chat today, wasn't there, about there's just a major concern now about signing players from that league, isn't there? Because we've had our backsides felt far too often on it, Stevie. We're not confident when we're getting into that market as a fan base anymore, I don't think.
The championship stung Rangers quite a few bit. Cammy says no more championship players, please. I can completely understand why there would be that trepidation towards that market. Absolutely. There's been the odd gem when you think about Joe Aribo or a Calvin Bassey. But in regard, was Calvin Bassey, was Leicester in the championship? I don't know, but we're in large, we've pretty much been stung down there when you look at your Joe Rothwells and things like that. Other transfer links, Kenny, Luke Graham. It's said that Rangers aren't any further on. There's no further news with Luke Graham. Casper Waddell, Excelsior centre half. Rangers monitoring. Again, no further look on that. I've got a feeling, Kenny, genuinely, that we'll talk about 100 names in this summer, and 3 or 4 we might get some progress on, but Rangers will do their work very quietly. When you think about Stig and Bjornby, Dan Purdy, the likes of them being involved, I don't see much coming out of Rangers anymore. I don't think you'll get much news until it's done or almost done. So we could speculate, and we will, and we'll talk about the gossip because that's what we do on this show and everything else. But there isn't anything solid at the moment happening, which is frustrating, I suppose. But we were told, the official word coming out of the club was, don't expect much before the World Cup. Don't expect things to warm up until the World Cup gets underway. June is traditionally quite quiet. Shankland being the early one was great, but I think that kind of put everybody in the mood thinking, well, they're going to come thick and fast. But the way it is, I'm not expecting too much more this month, and maybe just need to wait and see how that goes.
Well, you're damn right. We'll be talking about speculation, mate, because there's bugger all else to talk about. It is that simple, but there is nothing coming out of Ibrox whatsoever. There's no real news about anything. So all we've got is the scraps that are in and around the internet to try and find ourselves something to talk about at the moment, because it is effectively shut down at the moment, and it's understandable, Stevie. People are on holiday. There's a World Cup coming up. You're right about Lawrence Shankland, but Shanks has admitted that himself already, that the reason that he wanted that done so quickly was so that he could get it done and go over to America and absolutely enjoy what's going to be an experience of a lifetime for him. So when it comes to 100 players, that we're going to speculate on, it'll be the same as last season and the same as the season before, Stevie. It's all you do. And both you and I know this, that when we talk about literally 100, it'll probably be double that in terms of the names that are getting thrown at us. And we'll pick and choose some of them in the full knowledge that if you're lucky, as you say, 2, 3 will end up be signings, because Rangers and the 49ers have had this incredible knack of doing their business discreetly. And I mean, Oliver Antman was a prime example of that. But nobody had heard anything about that, had they, at all? And bang, the next, what the night before he signed. And they've done it with Leeds as well, Stevie. They do go about their business in a very discreet and professional manner. So trying to get anything out of there is very, very tough, as you well know. But we'll get there, mate, and it'll be a long, long summer. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely will be, Kenny. World Cup starts tomorrow. One of our players, Lawrence Shankland, Charlie Adam, reckons that Rangers have pulled off an incredible bit of business to get him. I think we feel the same. How do you think Shankland? I would love Lawrence Shankland. Listen, I'm a passionate Scotsman. I would love Scotland to qualify. It's a little bit bittersweet for me that Billy isn't there this summer. That was a huge thing for the family. I hope that comes round again for the wee fella. But I really hope Scotland can go and do it. I don't think Haiti is as easy as people make out. Brazil will be Brazil, and Morocco will be extremely difficult. So it's not an easy group. I do fancy Scotland to get something. But it all kicks off tomorrow. Mexico, South Africa at 8 o'clock, and then 3 a.m, South Korea versus Czech Republic. This is going to do the old sleep pattern no good at all. Who do you fancy to win this World Cup? Apart from the Scots, of course, who's your tip?
France, I think, will win it. Could be wrong. I watched their game against Northern Ireland and I thought they were very easy to play through, which surprised me. Northern Ireland caused them quite a little bother. They didn't have a huge amount of ball, Northern Ireland, but they caused them a bit of bother. I think Argentina will be there or thereabouts yet again, and Spain naturally will be there or thereabouts. If Thomas Tuchel had managed to pick the right players, I would have had a serious each way bet on England doing very, very well. But I think he has absolutely fucked that squad. I think he's made a real wicket of that squad. I think there's 6 or 7 players there that really should be there that he's not taken, which is interesting because it maybe shows, again, perhaps a bit of my ignorance, but he is definitely picking a squad for the formation that he's going to play, which I think, well, it's a long tournament. You might need to rip that up. Who's going to win it? Yeah, that's my kind of take on that. If I had a dark horse, I would say, believe it or not, maybe not to win it, but to do very, very well, Japan. Japan have got some real quality, and I think they'll be the real dark horse of the tournament.
I don't have any super duper insight, really. France is the one everybody seems to be talking about. Portugal is a side bet. I think you'll be there or thereabouts. My work sweepstake was Ghana. But I'm not sure they're going to do very well. John Walker tells me they'll get out of the group. Ivory Coast is my other one. They won 10 out of 10 in the qualifying, scored 25 goals, conceded no. They have Yan Diomande, who's a highly sought of world star. Not good enough in trials at some places, apparently. That will forever haunt me, that one. But I'm looking forward to it. Look, Festival of Football. Will we see all the games? I doubt it would have been kick-off times at that time. So, yeah, I doubt it. Hopefully Stevie, see a bit tomorrow night.
Did you hear the story about Diomande, Yan Diomande, when he was at Ibrox?
No, please do tell.
Yeah, well, you'll know he was on trial. Apparently, the story goes that he did all right in his trial when Rangers went to offer him something, and his agent was an absolute bellend and was wanting kind of Premier League, English Premier League money, and Rangers went, "Oh no, it's not going to happen." And almost immediately, apparently he'd done it somewhere else just previous to his trial at Rangers, and then he changed his agent and got a guy with a bit of common sense to represent him, and his careers went from strength to strength. Apparently it was genuinely his agent that was an absolute arse.
Well, I didn't know that. So there you go. We'll finish up there. 40 minutes. I think we've done quite well to give you a 40 minutes because there isn't a lot happening, folks. And I really don't want to have shows where we repeat and repeat and repeat. But we still have a desire to bring you content where we can. Just to update you a little bit, for members, Davey's chat with Derek Parlin is live. Hugh, thanks for your kind comments. We done one with Willie Matheson, which was really special for us on Four Lads, Willie being one of the Barcelona Bears, and we followed it up with yet another, Derek Parlin. We do have our next episode at the end of the month will be Mark Walters, who Davey really is excited about. For those of you who would have watched Davey's show last night with Rob of Unsung Heroes, it was episode 2 in the series. Mark Walters is one of Davey's favourite ever players, and he didn't make it in the team because of the rules about nationality that we do and stuff like that. But he's next up on Four Lads podcast, so we're really excited about that. If you're a member, you can hear all these extra shows and things like that. To become a member, you can do for as little as 99p a month. As we said in the middle of the show, don't want to bore people too much, but we are having a live show on the 24th of July. We'd love to see as many of you there as possible. If you're a member, go on to the members community on YouTube on our page, and you will see for all members only there is a code that allows you to get £25 off. No, 25% off. The tickets are 10-15 for a seated booth. So I hope that we'll see as many of you there. Huge thanks to John Arbuckle, who's bought tickets during the show. So we'll see you there, John. Thanks for your support. Kenny, as ever, mate, thank you. Really good show, despite having not a lot to talk about. I really appreciate all your hard work getting together an agenda and things for us. Yeah, I appreciate it, mate, as usual.
Not at all. Just want to pull you up on something very, very quickly. You called Haiti. And I've noticed this is happening all the time, that Haiti is Haiti, in my opinion, but you've got Kiev, which used to be Kiev. You've got Turkey, which used to be Turkey. And I just want to tell you that I've been to the Dominican Republic, which is in the same island as Haiti, and they don't call it Haiti. I don't know where all this comes from. And I'm getting old, and it's really annoying because the pronunciations, everything seems to be getting changed all of a sudden. And I don't quite get why.
I've got to be honest, Kenny, in response to you, I don't give a flying fuck. But I appreciate you pointing out, nevertheless, my friend. What I would say is I was listening back to our show on Monday night just to see how we sounded and stuff. And I called you Andrew on Monday night. So at least I've not done that. Yeah, well, I did. So, yeah, Haiti.
I don't listen to you, though.
Well, no, that's fair enough. Not many people do, and not many people should either. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us very much. I really appreciate it. All the comments, everybody that likes and subscribed. If you haven't on YouTube, please go and do so. It's free to do so, free to like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. If you would, that helps us grow. When we do live shows, when we go and ask Rangers for things, then yeah, it really helps. A huge thanks to our sponsors, Rhino Express, Clydeview Fire Protection and Joinery, CSD Air Conditioning, who will all be leaving us just at the end of the month. They've helped us for the last couple of years, and we really appreciate that. Arfield Industrial Solutions, Candid, RYDC, or our Sunday partnership. I spoke to Colin Stewart. We will be doing a bit with them soon as well, and doing a proper promotion of RYDC, because I feel like there's a lot to do there. So hopefully we'll get Colin on. Colin, one of the unsung heroes at Rangers Football Club. So we'll get Colin on for a chat and have a chat about RYDC and the great things they're doing and the money they're giving over to youth development at the club as well. So yeah, huge thanks to everybody. If you would like to sponsor Rangers Four Lads show, please get in contact with us at fourladsforadream at gmail.com. We are looking for sponsors next season. We're discussing things with a few people, so we're hopeful things will work out. We do give up to £6,000 back to the club in advertising and player sponsorship every year. So we're hoping to keep that going, because it's not self-gain. It's about trying to give back as much as possible as well. So we really appreciate it. If you can come along to the live show, we would really appreciate that too. But for now, coming tomorrow is the next episode of This Week in History. Davey's guest for that is none other than myself. And then on Friday night, the boys are back, Amrit and Co, for the Friday night live show. On Saturday, the next episode of Heart and Health is due to go out. The guest this week was none other than myself, talking about mental health, gambling addiction, alcoholism, and everything else. So I had a chat with Cheryl and with Brian. It says very much I look back at things I've went through and things like that as well. So very personal episode. And then Sunday night, I think Sunday show's back. So you've got podcasts every night to keep us going through. Enjoy the World Cup, folks, when it starts tomorrow. And we'll see you again, Kenny and I, Monday. But we'll be on every night up until then. So take care, folks. Have a lovely couple of days. Have a good weekend and all that when it comes. And we will speak to you again soon. Bye for now.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.